Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Chairman of today's function, Dr. C.K.N. Rajan, Honorable Mr. Justice Pachapare, Mr. Mallikarjunaya, Principal K.L.E.'s Law College, distinguished teachers, outgoing students with the degrees, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you must be feeling that the day has come. The day has come to leave the institution, but not to live within. But when you leave the institution with a grace, with a degree, what is it that you have given to the institution is the first thing. The second one is, what is it that you are going to give to the society? The third one is, what you will be giving to your own family and parents. These are the three questions which are to be answered by yourself. Parents are there to advise you, tell you the best of things. There may be parents who will be illiterate, but whose cultural advice may be better than the educated. In an environment of this kind, what is it that you have learned? First, I would like to give you the story of a great judge. I am not going to speak about his life and times. A particular person on his death, a great professor by name Sir Gerard Fitzmaurice, in one of his articles spoke about a great judge. And a great judge was none but Sir Harsh Lauterpatt. Sir Harsh Lauterpatt was an international lawman. And this person elevated to the professorship at the University of Cambridge. And as professor, he had earned a great name and one of the best international lawmen in the world then. Later, in the 1950s, he was elevated to the International Court of Justice as a judge. He served as a judge briefly, and it was only for 5 or 6 years he was a judge, no less, no more, nothing beyond that. And he was a party to only 7 decisions. In 7 decisions, remember, in 6 of the cases out of the 7, he delivered a separate opinion. Having delivered a separate opinion, he concurred with the majority. What he wrote then in the 1950s, in 1956, 1957, is the true rule of international law today. On his death, the British Society of International Law thought of bringing out a commemorative volume on this great man. Sir Gerard Fitzmaurice spoke about the quality of a judge. When he spoke about the quality of a judge, he said there should be 3 things. The first one is to apply the law to a given case in hand. You may be good in by hearting. You may be good in memorizing, but then if you are not good in applying the law to a given case, your career is useless. Lauterpatt was such a person. He could apply the law to a given case on hand, remember, instantly. And the approach was marvelous, and there was no second opinion about it. Now the second thing is perseverance. Most of us, remember, lack perseverance. Lauterpatt was always cool, never would lose his temper. And he applied the law in such a way, with perseverance, religious zeal. That is where he became a scholar judge. Now the third one is most important of all. You should be able to see the shape of things to come in the future. That is called as foreseeability. As a judge, it is not enough if you just literally apply the law. You should be able to foresee the shape of things to come. And if you realize this and put it in your judgment, naturally we will be honored. That is where the man is remembered. In another instance, I just intend to put to you, happened to be hard work. You might be knowing Lord Thurlow, happened to be the Lord Chancellor of England. When he was the Lord Chancellor of England, a pious lady goes to meet the Lord Chancellor with her son. And the pious lady puts a question, and the question was very simple. Honorable Lord Chancellor, would you advise my son to take law, to do or to pursue studies in the area of law? Lord Thurlow looked at the lady and the son and the young lad and said, whether your son is prepared to work like a horse and live like a hermit. The lady looked at the son just smiled, and both of them came out. What is required is hard work, and you should be able to lead a very simple life. So the third instance happened to be an instance wherein Lord Devlin had become old, very old. When he had become very old, there was another great judge, Lord Reed. Lord Reed, when he became a judge, remember, after the completion of his graduation ceremony like this, just takes the word of counseling from this great man. Would you advise me to take to law and the practicing of it? Then Lord Devlin puts a question. It is not a bed of roses. Later, Lord Reed realized, if you are not good in law, and if you don't put the efforts which is required by a student of law, at times it is also only bed without roses. And if you get roses, it is without the bed. So that is what is required. See, these are statements which are being made by great men. Now when we take to the understanding of law, Jeremy Bentham is the man who pointed out in the last century, in the 19th century, the beginning of the 19th century, saying, ignorance of the law excuses no one except the lawyer. What is this? Ignorance of the law excuses no one except the lawyer. Today we have so many complicated subjects. And the subjects which have become part of your LLB program were not thought of by the lawmakers. Put a question to yourself, where was environmental law in the 1950s? Where was cyber law in the 1980s? Think of where is outsourcing law in the 1990s? I can give you hundreds of subjects like this, and these subjects today are taught in the universities. Courses are being offered by various organizations. Now what is happening is, when cases come up in this area, most of our lawyers feel diffident. Most of our lawyers, remember, feel incompetent. It is, remember, trying to justify the incompetency by way of a competency has destroyed the career of lawyers. Just yesterday I was sitting in my chamber. A lady came with her son. I was just telling our principal the moment I entered his chamber. And the lady, a pious lady again, on her maybe between 50 to 60s, was putting a